Well, folks, here we are again once again for the weekly forecast. As we talked about last week, the first system that we were expecting to come through during the weekend and drop some accumulating snowfall across the state pretty much petered out, and the main snow activity lifted to our north. We had blizzard-like conditions across the Dakotas, and then that also moved eastward into Wisconsin, and there was a decent foundation of 3 to up to 12 inches of snow that fell with that system. And it is significant that it brought the overall snowpack from along the Canadian border all the way down into the southern sections of South Dakota, and that is important because with that snowpack in place, if we can keep it in place, any air that moves across southern Canada into the northern part of the United States is not going to see the modification of the air mass like we've seen last winter where there was a lack of snow cover. So I look at this as a positive. The one thing that we are looking for is, can we continue to see systems move across the state, and second, can we generate significant moisture with these systems? And that's been problematic. Systems that have been moving out of the western United States have been moving at too rapid of a pace to really entrain a lot of moisture from the Gulf into our region, and therefore it's a very limited amount of moisture that these systems can work on. So we are grateful that the system that just moved in over the last 24 hours that I kind of hinted at last week did produce some significant moisture in terms of about 1/4 inch to upwards of 3/4 inch of rainfall, and we are seeing a little bit of snow on the backside of it, nothing significant. But unfortunately, we're going to have to wait for a few more days before we see another precipitation event. So let's take a look at the upper air models and see how this week plays out and see whether or not we have any chance for some snowfall for a white Christmas. So the first thing I'll draw your attention to, the main system that crossed the state now is sitting over Wisconsin. We got some residual energy with the trough in the southwest, but this doesn't look like it's going to amount to anything. As it moves eastward, it's going to fade out, but specifically when it hits the drier air mass in western Texas and western Oklahoma. Now, as we go to tomorrow, what we're going to notice is the cold air does sag into the region. We do see a little bit of positive activity in terms of precipitation in Missouri, and some of that will spread into Illinois and Indiana, but it doesn't look to be a significant event. More importantly, is a system up to the northwest. As this starts to move toward the Great Lakes, we're going to see a much strengthening pattern across the eastern United States as we get into the midweek period. So as we go into Monday, what we will notice is this first wave of energy is going to dive down, so there should be a significant amount of snow that will possibly fall across the Dakotas, possibly hitting into northern Iowa, and this will move toward the Great Lakes. You'll notice that our flow is from the northwest, so we should see some fairly cool conditions at least early in the week. And by the time Tuesday comes around, we're going to start to see that cold air shift toward the Ohio River Valley, and we do expect to see some significant moisture across the eastern Corn Belt and potentially across the southeastern United States. For us here in the center part of the country, we're going to see warm temperatures warming with this ridge in play, and as it slides toward the southeast, we're still going to keep a southwesterly flow, so we do have a couple days of temperatures that are going to be fairly comfortable for this time of the year. Now, as we get to Wednesday, we'll notice that some of that energy from that trough tries to make it in and is kind of breaking apart over the mountains, and there is a possibility that we could see some light upslope flow conditions with light sprinkles or possibly snow in the panhandle, but right now nothing significant. Time we get to Thursday, what we're going to notice is that energy starts to regenerate itself over the northern plains, so we do expect some accumulating snowfall to reinforce that snowpack over Minnesota, and we turn our attention to the southwest where another piece of energy coming in with that trough across the western United States is expected to move into the southwest. Unfortunately, by Friday, what the models are indicating is it rapidly moves out. I think this might be a little too aggressive. If this thing slows down, we'll see a much more significant event coming into Nebraska next weekend. If it takes this pace, we are going to see maybe some upslope flow once again across western Nebraska with little in the way of significant precipitation in eastern Nebraska. Now, in terms of the temperatures, what we are looking at is temperatures that will slowly cool this weekend, and then we'll start to see a moderating trend as we get into Monday, Tuesday time frame before we start to see cooler air move in with a chance of precipitation next week. In terms of the 8 to 14 day forecast, they are looking for warmer conditions from next Thursday to the following Tuesday. In terms of precipitation, a drier trend is firmly in the models.